.com for a free quote.
It's a new year, and everyone's talking resolutions. Eat better, move more, give up everything fun. Yeah, Carbless says you don't have to do that part, because when you reach for a Carbless, you're choosing a better-for-you cocktail. With 0 carbs, 0 sugar, only 100 calories, and full of flavor, you can stay on track with your New Year's resolutions without having to commit to dry January. Start 2026 with balance, not guilt. Your goals matter, and your fun does too. Carbless, your New Year's first good decision.
You want to feel important. You want to be a part of something bigger, something that matters and can help change things. You want to feel like you belong. We know. We felt that way too. And that's why we did something about it. We aren't just Army National Guard soldiers. We are normal people just like you. And together, we can make a difference. Take on your legacy. Visit NationalGuard.com to find out more.
Sponsored by the Wisconsin Army National Guard. Aired by the Wisconsin Broadcasters Association and this station.
This hour of Unsportsmanlike is brought to you by the Neal Group. John Neal and his team know how to minimize your taxes and keep more money in your pocket. Visit nealgroup.net to learn more. nealgroup.net.
Well, we got a couple of issues out on the road right now. First of all, we have a crash in Ozaukee County on 43 southbound. This is just north of Port Washington, just about 4 miles south of Highway D, the easiest way to say it. Left lane is blocked right now, so that's going to be an issue for a while. Just be careful. It's before the Port Washington area. So, and then we've got just basically overall pretty good ride as far as delays are concerned. We got minimal delays, but remember the road conditions not all that great. We got some partially covered areas. Some might have the blowover from the winds and everything like that. So the bridges and overpasses on and off ramps are probably going to be slick. Just be extra careful. And checking the TMJ4 Storm Team forecast, all of southeast Wisconsin with the winter weather advisory and cold advisory until noon today. Very cold and windy, a high of 6 above with the wind chill of 10 below to 25 below. Tonight, mostly cloudy, bitterly cold and breezy, a low of 1 below with the wind chills of 10 below to 15 below. From the WTMJ traffic.
KTI and WKTI HD, Milwaukee.
A locally owned Good Karma brand station.
Shoot. The right way to start your day. This is Jen, Gabe, and Chewy, broadcasting live from the Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All studios at the Avenue with Gabe Neitzel and Mark Chmura. Here's Jen Lada.
Across ESPN Wisconsin. That's right, you. We're on in Madison today. Everybody wants to hear you talk and rant. About
Rant? It's Victory Monday.
What? I mean, okay. What do you mean? Why are you shocked? Do I need to quote the text that you sent us over the weekend?
What did I send you?
Hold on, let me find it.
What was that?
Let me find it.
What?
I'm looking for when the LaFleur came out.
What about resigning?
I'm ready to roast something tomorrow. That's what you sent us yesterday morning, not 24 hours ago. How many years did they sign for? I'm ready to roast tomorrow.
Yeah, if they signed anything over a 3-year extension, the Packers lose that negotiation, and if it's a 5-year, they're stupid. What do you think of that?
There you go. Well, because that's what I'm saying. Everybody wants to hear you roast because we got the news over the weekend. Now, we don't have the specifics, but Rob Demovsky breaking the news over the weekend that Matt LaFleur is coming back. Now, we don't know years, we don't know money, Chew. It is, quote, not a prove-it deal, but a real commitment. New deals for General Manager Brian Gutekunst and Russ Ball are also in the works. And I don't know if we're waiting for those deals to get done before some sort of announcement for the Packers. There's also a possibility the Packers never announced this, which I think would be dumb and reckless considering, like, did we know how much was left on the Gutekunst and LaFleur deals until Russ Ball? No, and just years-wise, until Russ Ball said something, or excuse me, until Ed Policy said something right before the season. Did we have any idea?
I thought he was getting pretty close to an extension.
Yeah, but I don't know if we necessarily knew that they had 2 years left on the deal. So once your president makes that announcement, I feel like you've got to follow it up. And whenever these deals done, you got to go, hey, we've locked them into long-term extensions. Now, somebody's probably going to have to do the work, whether that's Jason, whether that's Rob, whether that's Tom Silverstein, Matt Schneidman. Somebody is going to have to hope it gets leaked to them, because I can't imagine that the Packers are going to announce the number of years that the extensions are for.
Someone will leak that. Why isn't that public knowledge if the Packers are publicly traded
publicly owned
publicly owned
team?
Why wouldn't they have to disclose what everyone makes in the building, for that matter?
I believe they get around it via because it's not salary capped. It's sort of just you can log in under an expense of staffing expense or whatever. But you can also get a pretty good idea, because they will show you the books. You can dig through all of that, but it's not itemized. It doesn't say Matt LaFleur salary, Jeff Hafley salary, like that.
So let me ask you this. If it's 5 years, $75 million, how are you guys going to feel?
I feel like we have made it clear here, Chew, that I would not have brought him back. I always think anytime you lose a game like that, it is tough to recover from. But I feel better about that than some sort of half measure, we're going to give you a minimum extension for minimum dollars, because that wasn't going to work. Like, LaFleur wasn't going to come back on that, and obviously they wanted LaFleur to come back. So I feel better about going, nope, this is our guy, and having that, hey, just feeling confident in that he's your guy and moving forward with him, then I don't know if he's our guy, and here's what we think. I would rather you sell out and go, yep, this is our guy. We're going to throw our weight behind him. And they're not just throwing their weight behind him, throwing the weight of the organization behind Brian Gutekunst, keeping the structure the same. So I feel better about that, even though I disagree with the initial premise of bringing him back in the first place. But if you were to if you brought him back on some sort of half measure where it wouldn't have stung you to fire him at the end of the season, where he's immediately on the hot seat, like, you should not be hiring a coach or giving an extension to a coach to meet you and immediately throwing him on the hot seat right away in 2026. Like, I don't think that's good for organizational success.
Well, policy's opening himself up now for criticism as well.
Without a doubt.
He's fair game. He is absolutely. Look, I just don't understand. The honeymoon phase is over. Why does he get another honeymoon phase? Like, everyone, it's like, okay, we signed him, yay. Did we forget he choked his ass away 2 weeks ago? Did we forget that he lost 5 games at the end of the season? Did we forget that probably at least 3, maybe 4 seasons he's been here, they've been underachieving? That's fine. That's why I have a problem with a 5-year deal. I mean, 3, I think, would have been. It's just, I can't forget, and I don't know how to move forward going into next year, because we're critical, Gabe. We're not crazy critical, I don't think. I mean, all the criticism he gets, he deserves from us. Mm-hmm. It's just like, I'm going to have a shorter fuse, if that's possible, next year than I am these past 7 years.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I push back on your underachieve thing. I think this is the first year with Jordan Love. Now, in the Aaron Rodgers era, you could make the argument that the last 3 years that they underachieved.
But why does he get a pass, though?
But in this Jordan Love era, I think they overachieved the first year. I think they just kind of achieved. I think that's just kind of what they were last year. They were the 7th seed. They went in. They didn't beat any good teams last year, Chew. Yeah, they got to double-digit wins, and it was good, but they were 1-5 in the division. That just kind of felt like that's how good that team was, right? Like, that seems about where they should have been. And this year, I think, for the first time in the Jordan Love era, you can say they underachieved based on where they were. Yeah, the injuries factored in, but you can't go on a 5-game losing streak to end it. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, there's injuries, but maybe that explains not winning the division down the stretch because you're without, but you can't lose 5 in a row to end it. Especially given the leads that you had in some of those games and not being able to hold on to it. So I would say this is the first year they underachieved. But I get my guess is, and we don't know this, maybe I'll be really curious to see if Ed decides to talk. My guess is he doesn't whenever these are announced.
Yeah.
To answer some of the questions. But He kind of looked at the direction of the organization, where they were at the beginning of December. He liked what he saw, and he kind of made the decision then. Because based on everything, Chew, it doesn't seem like these were acrimonious negotiations. It seemed like the reason why it took as long as it did is because policies negotiating 3 of these contracts. They happened to get the LaFleur one done. What day was that? Was that Friday or Saturday, Joshy, that the report came out that Gutekunst, LaFleur, and Policy were having drinks at the American Club up in Kohler?
Yes.
Like, so what's the fans' emotion going to be? I don't even know what my emotion is. It's certainly not happy.
That's why we're here. All right? Are you happy about the extension? It's a simple question to kick off the show on the Cardinals Talking text line, 800-990-3776. Are you happy about the extension that Matt LaFleur got? Now, again, I understand reserving the right to potentially change how you feel, especially you, Chew, because, like you said, we don't know the numbers. If I had to guess, it is 4 years, $60 million, or 5 years, $75 million. Like, I'm guessing it's 4 or 5 years in that $15 million per range, which is the going rate for a coach. If you want it, that's the going rate for a coach.
I don't know. I know this. I mean, Hafley's probably going to get a head coaching job, and we talk about the transition from coordinator to coordinator. This defense going to have to probably relearn a whole new defense, and there's transition there. So,
I mean, but they were able to transition to that defense pretty quickly last year.
Well, it's a little easier when you have Micah Parsons.
Well, but that's what I'm saying. But Chewy, like they didn't even have Micah last year. And I thought they transitioned to that defense pretty good.
Yeah.
In the first year of Hafley is what I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. Obviously, they got to hire the right guy, you know?
Oh, yeah. Uh-huh.
I mean, that's always a risk, but it's just, I mean, if it's 5 years, 75, I'll be like, that's so weak. So weak. I just don't. Because if he has the same year, I mean, does the fact that let's just say it's a 5-year deal, Gabe, the fact that it's a 5-year deal, does that mean he gets another crappy season because it's a 5-year deal?
I mean, if they have the same season that they had this year, I can't imagine he gets fired. Like, they would have to miss the playoffs in order for that conversation to come up.
What if it's one and done? Because I can tell you this, I'm so happy the Bears lost because I can't, obviously we can't stand the Bears. But they're going to be a problem, Gabe. The sweep, like going into next year, I'm picking a split. I'm not picking a sweep.
I mean, I don't know. We'll have to wait and see and what happens this offseason because, again, like it's just so year to year.
What happens with them or what happens with us? Because we can't really do squat.
Both. Well, I think the Packers can free up enough money where they might be able to go get a guy, right? But I think the Bears have to figure out how to play defense.
Yeah, but they got a first-round pick. We don't.
Sure.
So.
Sure. Yeah, again, all those things factor. We'll see what they use.
I mean, stability's nice, but I'm like, my confidence level in him is a 6. A 6? What's it with you?
Yeah, probably around there, 5, 6. But again, I feel better about them doing this than I thought I made it pretty clear throughout the course of last week. Like, the last thing and I know Jen brought up the idea, and I pushed back on it. I would have hated the idea of him coaching on his lame duck year because I feel like that would have led to a lost season, Chew.
Yeah.
Like something like 7-10, 6-11. Maybe he gets fired halfway through, and it's just like, well, then he should have just because we've just seen that play out so many times, right? Yeah. Where bad teams go, nope, we got one more year. You got it. And no, either you commit to the guy or you don't. And they committed to him. And I like that they committed to him instead of taking a half measure. I like that they actually made a decision rather than trying to just kind of punt on it. So I like that aspect of it, Chew. I like the aspect that they made a decision. Now we get to judge them on that decision. But it's not like this little half measure, I'm scared to extend or fire. No, he decided, nope, these are my guys. I think they can get it done.
I just don't want if it is 5 years, them giving another crappy year, another underachieving year. I don't want that. You know, I I don't know. I'll be interested to see how critical I am when this thing goes a little bit south.
I don't think more performances like we saw against the Chicago Bears means Matt LaFleur is going to get all 5 years of that contract.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's pretty clearly an understanding here that that's unacceptable. And I think it probably buys him 2 years.
Yeah.
But past that, what do we put in the line at? No Super Bowl in 3 years? Are they really bringing him back?
Probably not.
And to me, that's all that really matters. The Packers can afford to pay out his contract those remaining 2 years.
Yeah, which is, again, something that I've said for a long time. Like, that just because you bring him back on this doesn't mean, and I'm sure that they put some offset language in there, right? Where if they, let's say, Chewy, they fall flat on their face. And my biggest fear of what would have happened under the lame duck year comes true. Let's say they just they have 6 wins for whatever reason next year.
Mm-hmm.
They're probably going to fire him.
Yeah, it's got to be catastrophic.
And then, but you eat the money because you got.
But
by the time we get to July, that rainy day fund's going to have $600 million in it.
No, I know, and people are going to forget, which they always do. I don't forget though. Maybe that's what they do in Wisconsin now. They did it with Fickle and they did it with LaFleur.
What are you talking about? You don't forget.
I ain't gonna forget.
It's kind of the thing we know you for.
Yeah.
What,
forgetting?
Yes.
Not long term. Not long term. Short term, yes, but not long term.
So what you're saying is you're going to forget tomorrow, but by the time we get to July, you're going to be locked in?
I don't know. I just didn't think, and obviously, if it's 4, it's a little more palatable, but if it's $575, sounds like LaFleur walked all over policy. I mean, having drinks at the American Club?
Yeah. Him, Goody, and LaFleur were all. But I guess
I don't know.
I mean, we're looking at this extension in the negotiation, I guess, completely from different angles, Chew. Because I know you are looking at it from there's a winner and loser of every negotiation.
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess I don't want a winner or a loser in the negotiation between my organization and head coach. Like, I kind of want everyone to be on the same page and everybody be okay with what comes out of it.
Are we imagining we'd prefer them to be enemies?
No, but I would prefer him to say, hey, here's your contract, but your feet are going to be to the fire next year, okay? It just seems like this whole trickle buddy. That's just not how... I know my wife doesn't negotiate like that.
Yeah, and I think that's where I think that's the angle
like that
you're coming from. Like, I didn't want them to be walking away with hard feelings because that's just not going to lead to any success for anybody. That's just going to lead to failure for everybody.
You better figure it out. I don't know. I like firing people, I guess. It is fun. I find it very fun.
Which leads me to this, because we're up against it. We're going to take some calls, 800-990-3776 in a moment. But now I have to ask this question because Chewy said he likes firing people. When's the last time you fired someone?
I think we know.
We're very close.
Ooh.
Didn't you have to fire one of your friends? Was it a landscaper?
Canned him like tuna. Yep.
Also
managed some of our money.
Yeah.
He sucked. Goodbye.
Is that the last guy you fired?
No, my wife fires people all the time.
Well, I know your wife does. That's why I asked, when's the last time you fired someone?
No, but a part of the businesses that we own.
Yeah, but if she's doing the firing, if you're not there, that doesn't count as you firing someone.
Yeah, but I cheer her on. Yeah! Get him! Go get him!
Wait.
Yeah.
So what you're telling me is when you scored a touchdown, let's say you scored a huge touchdown, Jeff Thomason's cheering you out from the sideline. It's just like JT scored the TD? Is that what you're trying to tell me now?
Yeah, of course. Yep. Just like when I would fumble. I only fumbled one time in my career. Isn't that crazy? And I remember it like it was yesterday, and it was, there's nothing worse.
Did you lose the fumble?
Tampa Bay. I was on the -6. We were on the -6.
Not great.
Yeah. You know what, though? Defense held them to 3. Makes you feel a lot better. Right?
Well, and you played with some of the defenses you did. I mean, that's...
What a lonely feeling, though, Gabe. When you're carrying it like a loaf of bread, and all of a sudden it's gone.
Carrying it like Josh Allen.
Uh-oh. Where did that go?
When you went to the sideline, did you avoid Holmgren?
No, because it was in the first quarter.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't even think he said anything. So if you're going to fumble early, right?
It's better than fumbling late, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Throwing an interception late, that's for sure. All right, we are going to get to your phone calls, 800-990-3776. We've got plenty of text to get to on the Carblos Talking text line. Your calls, are you happy about the Matt LaFleur extension? That's next on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy on ESPN Wisconsin.
Your state, your teams, your ESPN. The ESPN Wisconsin app. Find the ESPN Wisconsin app in the Apple or Android app stores today. More Jen, Gabe, and Chewy coming up on 94.5 ESPN.
We do have this crash on southbound 43 in Ozaukee County. This is north of Port Washington. Looks like the left lane is blocked heading southbound, so that's something to keep in mind. We've also got a crash on the off-ramp to Elm Road from southbound 94 in southern Milwaukee County. Then we've also got the other one, a crash on the off-ramp to Highway C in Kenosha County off of 94 southbound. Overall, the rest of the system's not looking too bad. We've got just basically windy conditions, so both hands on the wheel. And obviously, we're going to have some blowing snow and stuff like that. And things are kind of frozen over on certain areas. So you do want to be extra careful. But at this point, the speeds are looking pretty doable. Traffic is brought to you by the Neil Group. John Neal and his team know how to minimize your taxes to keep more money in your pocket. Visit neilgroup.net to learn more. That's neilgroup.net. And checking the TMJ4 Storm Team forecast, all of southeast Wisconsin has a winter weather advisory as well as a cold advisory until noon today. Very cold and windy, a high of 6 above with the wind chill of 10 below to 25 below. Tonight, mostly cloudy, bitterly cold, breezy, a low of 1 below with the wind chill of 10 below to 15 below. Weather is brought to you by National Liquor Mart at 16th and National in Milwaukee, packed with the best beer, liquor, seltzer, and spirit deals in town. Open 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. daily, where your satisfaction is their plan of action. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazaga on 94.5 ESPN.
On this show, it's always football season.
How can their roster building technique be a little more beneficial to them handling the highs and lows of games and of seasons?
Wilde and Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin.
I'm not saying we need a bunch of 11th year veterans, but I do think that there is an immaturity to how this team handles themselves.
Weekdays from 9 to noon on 94.5 ESPN, ESPN Milwaukee's YouTube channel, and the ESPN Wisconsin app.
At Uline, they know going the extra mile takes hard work. For companies pushing to go further, Uline will go the distance with you. 24/7, they answer the phone to get you the shipping and industrial supplies you need. Business can move fast. Unexpected large orders, adverse weather, new safety guidelines, and changing economic trends. Uline works hard keeping 41,000 items ready to ship, minimizing detours on your way to the extra mile. Visit uline.com.
Something exciting is happening at St. Kate the Arts Hotel. On the second floor, you'll find the Studio Kitchen and Cocktails, Milwaukee's destination for bold flavors, fresh sushi, seasonal entrees, and cocktails crafted with care. Start your day with a breakfast that fuels you, stop in for dinner that sparks conversation, or linger late into the evening with drinks designed to inspire. With flavors and drinks for every mood, the Studio is the perfect place to gather, celebrate, and connect. Be boldly social. The Studio Kitchen and Cocktails, now on the second floor at St. Kate the Arts Hotel.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6759. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6759. That's 800-575-6759. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Don't miss a full day of nonstop basketball action at the Deer District Prep Showcase Saturday, January 24th at Fiserv Forum. See the next generation of stars as 12 elite high school boys basketball teams take over the court for 6 can't-miss games. Watch Slinger, Freedom, Arrowhead, West Dallas Central, Racine Lutheran, and more all in one place. General admission is just $20, and that gets you access to all 6 games. Check the full schedule and grab your tickets now at FiservForum.com. Be there. Feel the energy. The Deer District Prep Showcase Saturday, January 24th.
This is Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
He sounds like the Beatles.
What?
Anyone?
This is a new one on me.
Listen to
I
his
don't
interview,
know.
the way he talks. He sounds like Paul McCartney. Ringo farted and it was horrible. It was absolutely horrible.
On 94.5 ESPN.
Jen, Gabe, and Chewy. No, Jen today. She's down at the national championship game. And I'm not going to lie to you. I'm a little jealous. When it's 2 degrees, when I had to take my dog out this morning. Like, even when I open the door and my dog's looking at me like, you kidding me? You want me to go outside in this?
It just like snowed for 3 days.
Yeah.
Every time I looked outside, there was more snow coming down.
Mm-hmm.
How much? Not a lot?
No.
Freezing here, too.
Well, so that was Saturday. Yeah, I'm freezing there. What is it?
Sand, pal.
Yeah, what is it, 59 degrees?
56.
Oh, man. No. Oh, better get the parka out. No, so we woke up on Saturday night. We got the most snowfall here. And we wake up, and my wife looks out the window in the bedroom, and she goes, oh, we got some snow overnight. Oh, how much is out there? So, just a couple inches. Couple inches, my ass.
Yeah.
Like 6 inches out there.
Oh, really?
I had snow drafts up to like a foot.
Yeah.
On my corner, because I live right on the corner. It wasn't very heavy, so it was very easy to deal with.
Yeah.
It was a lot.
At least it's light and fluffy, right?
Right.
Yes.
So it made it pretty effortless. It's not like when we got that really wet stuff. That was.
Is your friend who lives upstairs or downstairs contributing to the shoveling, or no?
I'm excited to report, despite there being 2 sessions of shoveling, she did, I guess I sort of doxed who it is. She did only do the driveway. Now, you might be asking, what about the alley, the side of the house and in front of the house? Well, that was me. And then the other time was all me, so... I guess it's a baby step.
Hey, that's
Do you think
a
she
step.
got a call?
It's a step in the right direction.
I don't think she got a call. I think she just figured it was probably time to help out.
Oh, really?
Also, she pushed snow into the alley, which we're responsible for. so I had to clean that off.
So created more work for you.
Correct.
Yep.
It's fantastic.
Yeah, baby steps, I guess.
Yeah, there's better than nothing, right? Or was it worse because you did still have to clean it up?
Much worse, no.
Okay.
Yeah.
800-990-3776. Are you happy about the Matt LaFleur extension? Let's go out to Brian in McGuanago. Brian, you're on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
How's it going, guys?
What's happening?
Hey, the entire body of work just doesn't tell me that he's the guy. I look at the hiring of Joe Barry. Every fan looked at the history of Joe Barry and go, really, this was the best available option? And we all saw how that turned out. Then we've had 4 years of Rich Bisaccia and the special teams being an absolute dumpster fire and him making no adjustments to address that or fix that. Then you watch the in-game strategy where they get out to a lead, and obviously the players look like they're firing on all cylinders, and then they dial it back and let everybody back into the game and end up losing in heartbreaking fashion in the end. It's like you watch the same thing time and time again, and he just doesn't have that killer instinct. He doesn't look like he can get the job done. He's got people around him that look very incompetent. And now you got 5 more years of this. It's just like, as a fan, cut bait, move on, get somebody in here who can get the job done or at least has a chance of getting the job done. I just don't think LaFleur's that guy. He might be good enough to get you a 10-7 season, get to the playoffs. He's not a Mike Holmgren. He's not an Andy Reid. He's not a Vince Lombardi. He's not a Curly Lambeau. He's not somebody who's just going to go for broke and get the job done. If we get lucky, he might get one, but I don't see that happening.
Appreciate the call, Brian. Again, it's the simple question. Are you happy about the extension? Brian obviously falling under the no, he is not happy about the extension. And the one thing that's been floating around along with this extension, Chew, and I'm curious if you or Joshy put any sort of credence into it, that John Madden is the only coach to win a Super Bowl or go and even go to a Super Bowl for the first time this deep into a tenure. Like, John Madden was 8 years into his tenure, and that's when he first went to a Super Bowl with the Raiders. Mm-hmm. That's the latest a coach has ever gone. Obviously, the Raiders would win that Super Bowl as well. But do you put any credence into, well, historically speaking, somebody who's been there as long as Matt has and hasn't gone to a Super Bowl, history tells you that he's not going to go to a Super Bowl. Do you put any credence into that?
Yes, I would put a little. I'm more aggravated by the reset. After Rodgers, there was a reset.
Yep.
And you still underachieve because look at, okay, Denver. What's it? Sean Payton's in third year.
Year 3, year 2
right?
with Bo Nix.
Seattle. McDonald's in his second year.
Second year.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Vrabel, first year.
Mm-hmm.
How long is
McVay's been there.
Been in Houston?
DeMeco's been there for 3 years.
McVay's been there a while.
Yeah, McVay's been there forever, yeah. DeMeco's been there for 3 years.
Ryans.
Yeah, he's 3 years. 3.
3 years. So how long has Shanahan been in San Fran? He hasn't been
forever.
As long as LaFleur has, right? Because he was.
He's been there for longer.
But he was in Atlanta.
Right, and Matt LaFleur was working under him in Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying, how are you going to feel if you find out the Packers didn't say there has to be changes? They just gave them, all right, here's your 5
Well,
years.
that's the thing. I don't think they did say. I don't think they did say there have to be changes.
I don't think there are either.
I think Spoon reported that.
Yeah,
that there was it wasn't conditioned.
And I mean, that doesn't mean there won't be.
Well, then what the hell are we doing?
That doesn't mean that there won't be, but the head coach hires his staff. That's the way they're keeping it. There was no mandate on, hey, you have to fire this person, this person, this person.
Do you think there will be a big change?
Outside
Obviously,
of
there's
Hafley?
going to be a coordinator change.
Yeah, I mean, I'm assuming Hafley gets a head coaching job. He's going on a second round of interviews. Based on the reporting over the weekend, it feels like he's the favorite. Again, I don't know what goes into these interviews, Chew, so I don't know what the difference between the second. Do you know the difference between like the first interview and the second interview?
They just get a little more in depth into the second interview and start talking X's and O's in philosophy and how you're going to handle fourth down in the minus area and the plus area. They just get into more how big of a gambler you are essentially. So they get a little more in depth. They want to test your football knowledge.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like Hafley's the favorite in Miami based on all the reporting. Now he's got other second interviews scheduled for later this week, but it seems like he's going to be in the building in Miami, and maybe they're going to want to sign him. But we'll wait and see what Eric John Sullivan ultimately does. Former Packers executive, now the GM in Miami. But yeah, Spoon said no changes. So I think we're getting a new defensive coordinator. I don't know what else we're getting.
Yeah, I don't know either. I do think the John Madden thing is meaningful. I mean, that's a Hall of Fame coach.
Mm-hmm.
So unless we think Matt LaFleur is working his way towards being like a Hall of Fame level guy, and sure, John Madden has more to his tenure than just the head coaching, but he was a pretty damn good one at.
Yeah.
So to me, teams typically move on fast. Sometimes you could say they probably move on too fast, but 7 years is a lot. And yes, there was a transition in the middle of it. The thing I've been wondering, does losing to the Bears in that way mean as much to the organization as it does to the fans?
No. I would just, because I think to the fans it hurts even more because it's the Bears. Uh-huh. And, you see all the different stuff, if you're on social media, all the different stuff that Bears fans are posting, and they're, trolling Packer fans and all that sort of thing, which, again, comes with winning, right? But it's not like it's not like Kevin Warren is leaving trolling voicemails for Ed Policy this week.
I mean, it has to mean something to F the Packers. And the way the handshake went.
Sure.
And Ben Johnson certainly elevated it.
Mm-hmm.
It certainly means a lot to that organization.
I think to me it just means more that you lost a game that way. I don't think it's for the Packers organization. I don't think it matters that it was to the Bears. Now, losing that game in that manner, I think means something. But it doesn't mean extra the way it does to the fan base because of who it happened.
But you can't You can't overlook the 5 losses, and you say whatever you want about Minnesota. You know what this makes me feel like today? Makes me feel like they're going to bring Rashawn Gary back.
They need that money, Chew. There's a difference there. They need that money.
Well, I'm just saying. That's how I feel. Yeah, bring him back.
They need that. They need that Rashawn money.
You hear him? He said he was great.
They need that. They need that Rashawn money in order to pay guys like Tucker Kraft.
I'm like, geez, I'm crow. And you know what? There's a part of me that I like him resigned, but I mean, to me, it sounds like Packers got walked over in this negotiation.
I mean, I don't know if they got walked over, Chew. I think they just paid the going rate. Like you paid what people paid their head coaches. That's what they did.
The length of the contract.
Well, again, we don't know what the length is. We don't.
We're rewarding failure. Is that what we do?
Well, this isn't.
I could tell.
Like, there's a fine line between Like, what the Packers have been doing is not failure. Like, they're not. Like, failure is what the the Las Vegas Raiders are. Like, that's the failure. Like, that's what the Cardinals are.
All right, then give me a word.
I mean, I would say disappointing. I think this year was disappointing for sure.
Underachievement?
I would say this year was underachievement for sure. And if they didn't have to give him an extension, like, it was just the timing of the extension also.
Yeah.
You know, like, if there were 2 years, let's say going into this year, Chew, there were 3 years left. Like, they're not giving him a $15 million extension if there's 2 years left on the deal. This was the timing of it. And you had to make the decision. Is he your guy or is he not your guy? They decided he's the guy. In order for him to be the guy, you had to pay the going rate. And the going rate was
Gabe, my thing is there shouldn't be another reset. You already had 2. You had a reset after Rodgers.
Well, I don't think there is a reset.
You're giving him a reset. Yeah, there is. If they have the same kind of year they have next year, and because it's a 5-year deal, you bring them back again, that's a reset. You know?
That's running it back. Reset is like you're resetting the organization.
We're running it back. Well, we're running it back this year. Right?
Yeah. And they probably run it back next year.
Don't like it.
Which is fine. But we've got somebody like here, Jim in Door County. Absolutely extend Matt LaFleur. No better choice. He's done a great job with Love and Willis. Love could take a huge step backwards with a new offensive coordinator.
Well, he's got to take a step forward, and we're waiting.
My guy Bluty also says, please analyze GMs as well for the teams you're going through. John Schneider at Seattle, elite GM. Goody still has a lot to prove. Offensive line, defensive line was this weekend was dominant. And I think, those in the trenches, I mean, that led to a lot of bad football.
I mean, I'll be interested to see what Craig says on Friday if we have him. Because he doesn't clearly run his business like that. And we see evidence of it. And I'd like to know what he would do in this situation. Because when you have a position like Goody and LaFleur, there's goals, there's benchmarks you should hit, in any business. That's why you have goals in business to reach them. And if you grossly underachieve, you don't give the flipping guy a raise, do you?
Well, it depends upon how you feel about the guy. Because, I would argue that this was the first year in the Love era that they underachieved. And now the contract is up, and you got to make the decision. Is this the guy that we think we can achieve that with?
All right.
And if the going rate is, this is what the going rate is because the contract's up, then that's what you have to do if you've decided that this is our guy.
Are we allowed to be more critical next year?
How are you going to be more critical? I would say you've been pretty critical.
And not enough. I mean, I've had more in the tank a lot of times and pulled the dogs back. I ain't doing it this year. Not with that raise, if it's what I think it is.
I don't believe you. I don't think you've held the dogs back.
What about on a Monday?
Definitely not on a Monday. You've never held never once in my career of doing shows with you have you held the dogs back on a Monday. On a Monday, you're probably going even harder to the hoop.
Yeah. So you're saying I'm not going to hold back or I am going to hold back?
I'm going to say, no, I don't think you are going to hold back because I don't think you've held back in the past.
Oh, I've held back. I've been actually kind of nice. I've been kind of nice. Yeah. Right, Josh?
You can just get on here and say anything, huh?
Yeah. If your microphone's open, yeah. It's kind of how it works, I guess.
Well, half the time I got to do it because you guys are so far the other side, I got to bring you back to reality.
Oh, there it is.
That's why I got to go that far.
I do want to address Chew coming up next. We just briefly talked about it there because there have been a couple of texts here, like guys from Chef Ed. We just heard it there from Brian and McGuanago about Rich Bisaccia, the staff. I want to dive into that aspect of that. We're going to do that coming up next year on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy. But when a trophy is raised, it can feel like the season's over. But on the ESPN app, it never really is because they have more than 47,000 live events. Just think about it. It's probably where a lot of people are going to be watching the national championship tonight. That's what I'm going to be doing. I was using it for PGA Tour Live. I love watching the early round coverage Thursday, Friday on the PGA Tour. It's over there at the ESPN app. There's always something to dive into. No off season, just everything a fan needs to keep going. Always in season. Get all of ESPN all in one place. Download the ESPN app on your TV or phone today.
More Jen, Gabe, and Chewy coming up on 94.5 ESPN.
Looking pretty good. Getting a little heavier westbound 94 heading through the stadium interchange. And things to remember, we do have a crash on the off-ramp to Elm Road from southbound 94. Wow. We've got a car that's way off the road, so yeah, they're going to be working on that one for a little bit. We've also got the crash in Kenosha County, southbound off-ramp to Highway C in Kenosha County, and then we've got the other one on southbound 43 in Ozaukee County. This is north of Port Washington. Left lane is blocked heading southbound, so that's something to keep in mind as well. Traffic is brought to you by Fisco Auto Body. Call Fisco Auto Body to help with all body repair needs. Fisco, Fisco, Fisco. And checking the TMJ4 Storm Team forecast, all of southeast Wisconsin has a winter weather advisory and cold advisory until noon today. Very cold and windy today with a high of 6 above, wind chills 10 below to 25 below. And then tonight, mostly cloudy, bitterly cold and breezy, a low of 1 below with a wind chill of 10 below to 15 below. Weather is brought to you by Big Frog Custom T-shirts and more. Easy and affordable apparel personalization with no minimums and fast turnaround. For all your printing needs, bigfrog.com/Mequon. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazaga on 94.5 ESPN.
Beautifully, and want your brand to turn heads and win hearts?
Captivate Exhibits can bring your brand to life by transforming lobbies, creating history walls, and beautifying facilities.
For over 32 years, Captivate has been the MVP of trade show exhibits and workplace design and fabrication. Let Captivate craft immersive branded environments that tell your story boldly, beautifully, and with purpose at events and around the office.
Score big by making your next event or your own space unforgettable. Create something legendary by getting started today at CaptivateExhibits.com.
Your New Year routine just got a major refresh thanks to Carbless. Staying mindful, Carbless has 0 sugar and 0 carbs. Watching calories? We've got you covered. Still want something bold and delicious? Well, that's our specialty at Carbless. Whether you're out celebrating or settling into post-holiday goals, Carbless keeps things light, fun, and completely guilt-free. Start your 2026 with flavor and no compromise. Celebrate the new year with bold flavor, 0 guilt, and a drink that keeps things light. Happy New Year from Carbless. Let's make your new year feel flawless.
Life's better with Drive My Way from American Family Insurance because we know it's more than just a car. It's your escape pod, your adventure mobile, your memory maker. And we help protect the dreams that drive you. Personalize what you pay for auto insurance and you could save between 10 and 35%. American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products pricing and availability vary based on the way you purchase insurance and by state. Unsafe driving behaviors may increase your rate. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating companies, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
This is Eric Brown, owner of Siding Unlimited, letting you know that Siding Unlimited installs Pella windows and doors. That's right, Siding Unlimited installs windows, and we do it really well, earning the prestigious Pella Platinum Premier National Certified Contractor of the Year award 5 times. New windows, our expert team will deliver on a smooth, hassle-free installation, making you feel proud of calling Siding Unlimited for your window project. What's the next step? Call 262-567-4513 or go to sidingunlimited.com.
From the biggest plays on the court to the comments made in the locker room after. An in-depth recap of every Bucks game. In 6 minutes. No more? No less. Bucks in 6 on the Bucks Plus Audio Network. If you missed any of the game or just want to relive the biggest moments, Bucks in 6 provides game recaps every morning after. Hear the high-flying dunks from Giannis or the deep threes from Miles Turner. And catch the comments post-game about what happened on the court. Bucks in 6 on the Bucks Plus Audio Network. Find it now on bucks.com/plus or on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Rock a big win this January at Potawatomi Casino Hotel, Milwaukee. Don't miss your chance to win a share of $60,000 in prizes every week. Just play with your rewards card for entries. Prize drawings on Thursdays. Plus, your January drawing entries all roll into an even bigger prize drawing in March. Rock on all month long, only at Potawatomi. More info online. Must be 21 and a rewards member to play.
You are listening to Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
And guess who didn't hit the hole? Zeke Elliott.
Ashton.
Well, I mean, yes. Yeah, right back there?
That's so true.
It was a direct shot. She took out the sniper rifle and just...
She got right up to me, took out a Glock, and just shot.
Yeah, right in the balls.
On 94.5 ESPN.
Brian and the Shaw joining in on the Car Blues Talking text line. Less is more. Bears unlikely to duplicate the amount of fortunate fourth quarter comeback wins they had and the number of turnovers that they had. I wanted them to lose by 50, but them losing the way they did yesterday in OT was also acceptable. I hope many Bears fans have terrible hangovers and are very sad.
The Bears outplayed the Rams.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Outside of the, they lost obviously because of turnovers, but
yeah, their number one pick
you,
through 3 interceptions.
Sleeping on the Bears is a mistake.
Oh, they're my easy pick for not in the playoffs next year.
That's why I have to go so far the other way for statements like that.
Well, here's the thing. I have supported things. You just think they're good and going to be great. Their margin of wins in the fourth quarter, the turnovers, the way they've won games, that's completely unsustainable. The history of the NFL tells us that. There's empirical evidence to state that. I'm not just being a homer. I'm talking about the results.
They're going to be great. I said they're going to be a problem.
Yeah.
They're going to be a problem.
9-win team that misses the playoffs because fortunately the ball doesn't bounce their way. I mean, it took Romeo Doubs to have a ball bounce off his chest for them to win.
Yeah, but if you look at the stats, Josh, third down efficiency much better. Their plays, their total yards, they outgained them by 70 yards. Had more passing yards, had 50 more rushing yards. I think sacks were 4-0.
Right, and then they still lost the game.
Yeah, I know, but I'm not saying they're going to win the Super Bowl next year. I'm just saying the days of going Minnesota, maybe a split. Detroit or Chicago, that's a sweep or winning 2. Those days are put on hold for now. They're put on hold.
Yeah, they're a competent franchise.
Congrats. Who's a better
to
coach,
them.
Ben Johnson or Matt LaFleur moving forward?
If you have an opinion on that, I think you're making an emotional decision. Because he cost them, the amount of times he was overly aggressive and cost them field position and put them behind the 8 ball.
He cost them the game yesterday.
Yeah. So, I know they're aggressive on fourth down.
Every once in a while, you got to take the points.
Yep.
I know, but you're not saying that Ben Johnson's not a good coach.
No. But I'm not saying Matt LaFleur's not a good coach either.
Yeah. That's fine. I'm not saying one's much better.
I think they're sort of in familiar territory.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah. But
now,
if you're going to pick a regression candidate, number 1 is the Bears.
I think we can say this year the NFC West was the best division in football.
Yes.
But, with the changes that are coming in the Central, they could barely easily be the best. Because Detroit, what are we, the North?
Tampa Bay hasn't been around for a while.
Hasn't been the Central for about 20 years, pal.
Is there a Central?
No. Nope.
Okay. If Minnesota goes with McCarthy again, that's their own doing. Then they're completely stupid because
I find that hard to believe.
They were so much better last year with Darnold, and say whatever you want about Darnold. They went, 14-3?
Mm-hmm.
So they got the potential. I don't know about get back to that, but if they go in and get a decent quarterback, they got a good roster.
Make a lot of sense there.
Detroit, okay, you're going to get a new coordinator,
They are.
maybe McDaniel. So they're going to – these 4 teams are going to be equal going in next year.
If Detroit hires Arthur Smith,
What if they get McDaniel?
That might be a boon for us.
That's a big win.
Yeah.
Well, and we got to wait and see if what happens with Brian Flores.
Oh, that's as far as a head coach?
Well, because he's also a coaching free agent, Chew.
Right.
He could decide.
Is he really?
Yeah.
Somebody could offer him a ton of money
As a DC, and he could still leave, not even just as a head coach, but just as a defensive coordinator.
Yeah.
Because he's not under contract with the Minnesota Vikings anymore. I mean, he could still certainly return to Minnesota, right? Yeah. Like that's still on the table, but it's not as if he didn't get a head coaching job. Now he's been interviewing for head coaching and defensive coordinator jobs. So
where's he been? For coordinator.
I think he's got for coordinator. I can't remember off the top of my head.
No.
But he's taken a couple of those. He's interviewing, I think, today in Pittsburgh for the head coaching job.
Yeah.
So a lot of different things certainly can happen there. I do want to dive into the Packers staff, though, Chew.
Yes.
Because as a couple of people have kind of pointed out, as long as they make some big wholesale changes. Now, Tom Silverstein did say that doesn't seem like that is going to be mandated. And I thought there was a really interesting article. Justice Mosqueda, our guy over at Acme Packing Company, has just been on fire, I think, this past week, kind of pointing out that there's a chance that Rich Bisaccia sticks around. Because, as John Kuhn had pointed out on Twitter last week, Bisaccia is respected in the building. He's respected across the league. And some of the special team stuff isn't necessarily his fault because the Packers just don't care about the return game. They straight up don't care. So the coverage units were actually pretty decent this year. Mm-hmm. And they have invested there. They've had guys like Bo Melton. As much as we talked about Bo Melton, wide receiver, cornerback this year, Bo Melton's a special teamer. And that's the only reason he made the rosters, and that's the reason they switched positions, because they wanted him to be on the team as a special teamer, as a coverage guy. So they invest in that. But in terms of return guys, return guys typically in the NFL, Chew, have a certain body type. And the Packers just don't draft that. And they don't want to invest in, this guy's going to be just a returner. That's not something they've showed interest in, whether that's Ben LaFleur, whether that's even, again, going back to previous regimes of Ted Thompson, Mike McCarthy. So, and again, I am not somebody that blames Brandon McManus missing kicks on...
Yeah, and you shouldn't.
On Bisaccia. That's, to me, just on the operation and him and McManus himself. It seems like the things that the Packers actually care about on special teams, he's been able to coach it up to the point where it hasn't been as disastrous as everybody wants.
I do think it's how many teams do you know where they have a special teamer that's like a core guy, a guy that's probably overplayed and he does nothing else other than play special teams and he's pretty damn good at it.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of good ones.
Those guys,
nope,
and they've never cared about them.
They used to, because Chewy, you guys used to have that. Like Travis Jervey was that guy. I don't think they ever overpaid Travis, but Jervey was a good special team.
We had a bunch of guys. We had Timmy Houck. We had Lamont Hollenquist. These were all special teamers. We had
there was at some
Travis
point
Jervey.
Yep. Obviously, Desmond was a specialist.
Yeah.
He didn't
They
play,
had their own identity.
They
had their own identity. Yeah.
You guys had so many injuries at wide receiver in '96, and Desmond still didn't play wide receiver.
No.
Terry Mickens is going out there catching touchdowns when you guys were beat up instead of Desmond, because Desmond was a specialist. Even after that, you had Roel Preston in the early 2000s, Antonio Chapman. I can list off returners that the Packers have had. There's one I'm missing. Why am I blanking on? Alan Rossum.
Yeah.
Right? Used to that used to be something that this team, and then at some point, I don't know if it was the Ted Thompson era, if it started then.
Who was the last one that I remember? I'm thinking Will Blackman.
Yeah.
Was probably the last guy.
And that's
Montgomery? Wasn't Montgomery there until he
but he wasn't
a little bit of a meltdown?
The problem was, but that's the problem. We had a meltdown and he wasn't good.
Yeah.
But is that what we want?
Use him on offense.
Hey, is that what we're hiring now? Guys they really like in the building? Because you know who they really liked in the building? Ray Rhodes. Nicest
but
guy.
I'm just saying that Bisaccia, like for the things that the Packers have cared about and invested in, Bisaccia has actually gotten the special teams to a decent point. Like, and again, I think it's pretty obvious they don't give a rip about returning when Romeo Dobbs is the one. Like, again, I know I've been somebody who's ripped on Romeo at times. Romeo has a certain skill set in the NFL.
Yeah.
Being shifty and returning punts ain't it. They're throwing him back there because they think he can catch it. And then if he gets anything, cool. But they haven't invested in the return game. They don't care. And they haven't even invested, I think, in at as much as they could have in like Jeff Janis was even that guy.
Yeah.
Who was a fantastic gunner.
I get it on kickoff return because they're probably content at getting the ball at the 25. That's fine.
Oh, you get it to the 25 because if you kick the ball in the end zone now, Chew, it comes out to the 35. So if you stop somebody at the 25, that's a win.
But a punt returner, punt returner can be pretty darn important.
Oh, I mean, again, whether or not you think it's the right idea to ignore special teams is up to you. I would just say, look at how the Seahawks started their game.
Yeah.
The Seahawks decided that, hey, we're missing a returner, and went out and got Rashid Shaheed at the trade deadline.
Basically unused on offense.
And he is an electric
Has he
returner.
had 3 touchdowns since going there? At least 2. I know.
At least 2.
Yeah.
And 2 pretty big ones. One in the playoffs on that, and then one that sparked their comeback win over the Rams on a Thursday night. Yeah, he might have another one in there. He's got plenty of other big returns in there. So I'm just saying, Rich Bisaccia, yes, they can fire him if they want. I just don't think that their special teams issues are going to be solved by firing Rich Bisaccia.
My big question is, how much is his role as associate head coach or whatever that title he has?
I think that's fair, Josh.
And the other part I have is how much does he actually listen to?
Yep.
How much does Matt actually take? Like, how much can I actually blame him because is the head coach just ignoring him? I don't know that.
I think much like Stenovich, we don't know what the role of associate head coach entails for the Green Bay Packers. And I think that's, again.
He's clearly next to Matt LaFleur.
Yeah, he's there a lot.
Yeah. I just don't know what he's doing.
The reason for, which is crazy, the reason for the associate head coach tag is to protect him.
Yep.
Well, if they're average coaches, what the hell are you protecting them for?
Yeah.
Am I right? Then what are you doing it for? That's the only reason. So that you can deny the interview process if someone requests an interview with the person. Like, it just...
So look, if they want to fire Bisaccia, go ahead and fire Bisaccia. But I think their special teams are going to be what they are with or without him.
So what the Packers get in this negotiation if it's 5 years, $75 million? What'd they get?
They got the guy that they believe is their head coach
That's it?
stability.
That's it.
And they got the guy they think is going to help Jordan Love continue to ascend. I do think we haven't, as critical as I've been of Matt LaFleur and will continue to be, I don't think he's properly given credit to a guy who was playing at an MVP level until the team results didn't follow.
Shout out to Paul on the Cardinals Talking text line. Jarrett Bush, another special teamer.
Yeah. Yeah, good call.
But
I know I'm forgetting some guys. JT was, Jeff Thomason was a hell of a special teamer.
But I think if they want to be better at special teams, like, sure, fire Bisaccia, but then they have to organizationally
commit 2 positions to special teamers.
Mm-hmm.
I know you want to get the most out of
anyways.
as many guys as possible, but
I thought they did anyways. I thought there was an underling to the head cheese. No?
No, Josh is talking about on the roster. You have to commit roster spots to specific players to special teams.
Because they did try that initially. There was the one guy who got cut that he brought from – because Keyshawn Nixon was initially a special teamer.
Correct.
And a core special teamer.
Again, you brought him in as a return specialist. He was 2-time All-Pro as a return specialist.
He didn't actually return. He was actually –
Sure.
Yeah.
But eventually – eventually he returned. And
then there was another guy who – got a personal foul and then was cut on Monday.
I always forget his name. Levet?
Yes.
No, he got 2 penalties on one play.
Dallin Levitt.
Didn't he have 2 penalties on one play?
He might have. He did.
Which is impressive. Yeah.
When the ref throws your flag and then the hat and they're both on you.
Yeah.
I think Chewy's right. I'm not even mad. That's amazing.
What's the third thing they throw? Their shoe?
I don't know.
No, really. If there were 3 penalties, I wonder if that's ever happened.
Have the beanbag? Would that come out?
I mean, the beanbag is like, I feel for like fumbles only.
That's for fumbles, yeah.
Or like the return spot, on
the
a
hat
punt
is
return.
only for a second penalty, so.
Well, the hat is for one of two things. Either you ran out of bounds. Or the second penalty. So, I don't know. If the shirt comes off, I think the shoe would be tough, especially on a day like yesterday in Chicago when the field's as cold as it is. We'll have to ask an official. Anytime we talk to an official, we'll have to ask that. We're running a little behind, but Chewy had a nice little adventure this weekend. We dive into that as well coming up next. But, guys, I'm telling you, if you're getting ready to propose, the Jewelry Center is the place to go for the ring. They're the go-to spot for diamond engagement rings in Milwaukee for a reason. Look, it's what I did. And maybe you have an idea, maybe you don't. I kind of have an idea, but I went into the team at the Jewelry Center, and they showed me what I kind of described. Maybe you don't have an idea. Go to our Pinterest page, see if there's anything there, and they're going to make sure that dream ring becomes a reality. Whether it's a naturally mined diamond, a lab-grown diamond, the Jewelry Center has it. So check out the inventory at one of the 4 locations, Greenfield, Brookfield, Burlington, and now Mequon, or shop online at shoptjc.com.
Jen, Gabe, and Chewy are back after this on 94.5 ESPN. With Wildy and Tausch, you won't miss a play.
We were in the postseason what we were all throughout the regular season. A good team that couldn't put 4 quarters together, let teams hang around, and when you don't have Micah Parsons to clean up.
Presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin.
You allow, things to happen at the end of games that don't and shouldn't happen.
Weekdays from 9 to noon on 94.5 ESPN. ESPN Milwaukee's YouTube channel and the ESPN Wisconsin app.
Did you know Professional Construction Inc. has an in-house team of interior designers? We're excited to bring our expertise to you with our brand new virtual interior design program. Maybe you're not ready for a full construction project, but you are ready to refresh that outdated room. Our PCI design team creates stunning photorealistic renderings, a mood board, and a curated shopping list, all delivered to you in just days.
For all your construction and design needs,
visit professionalconstructioninc.com.
Brewers mini ticket plans for the 2026 season are available now with 6-game, 12-game, and build-your-own plan options. You can pick or build the best plan for your schedule, whether you're gearing up for tailgates under the sun, the thrill of the home runs, or the eruptions of walk-off wins. Brewers mini plans have you covered for the 2026 season with specially discounted ticket rates and more exclusive perks in each plan. Check out all the mini plan options available for 2026 now at brewers.com/ticket plans.
The Milwaukee Weight Loss Program has been able to change the lives of thousands of people with this incredible metabolic reset program. We know the secret to losing up to 1 pound of fat every day with no exercising, no prepackaged meals, no counting points or calories, no drugs, no surgery, and no injections with the risk of serious side effects. There's no better time than now to give yourself the gift of a new you in this new year. Schedule your free consultation now by visiting MilwaukeeWeightLoss.com.
Josh DiMaggio here, and I'm starting 2026 off right with Milwaukee Weight Loss. Their team has been absolutely amazing through the consultation process, and they even created a customized plan for me and my weight loss goals. Many patients lose 20 to 30 pounds in a month or two. Call for your free weight loss consultation, 262-235-3980. That's 262-235-3980, or online at MilwaukeeWeightLoss.com. That's MilwaukeeWeightLoss.com.
Looking for a delicious meal without breaking the bank? Cousin Subs has you covered. Our $10 meal deal gives you a 7.5-inch ham and provolone, turkey breast, or veggie sub piled high with fresh hand-sliced ingredients, crisp veggies, and all your favorite toppings. Add a bag of chips or regular fries, a fountain drink, and a cookie, all for just $10. This deal's available online or through the Cousins app only, and you can enjoy your meal at home, at work, or delivered straight to your door, hot and fresh. Cousin Subs. We believe in better. Available at participating locations. Offer subject to change.
Ben Brust here for the Princeton Club. If you're looking for your better tomorrow, you know where to go. It's the Princeton Club. If you're looking to grow, it's also the Princeton Club, because they will cheer for you in all areas of your life. The best way to do that is to start a foundation of having a healthy body, and your growth will start from there. With the cleanest health clubs in Wisconsin, they provide everything for you to reach your goals. Join before January 31st to get the lowest rates of 2026. Make sure you join the Princeton Club for a better tomorrow.
What's better than cheering for the Packers with an ice-cold beer in your hand? Cheering for the Packers with an ice-cold beer in your hand that you got for 10% off. And when you get Packers checking from Associated Bank, you get even more. Like 10% off food and 10% off drinks on game day. Like that ice-cold beer in your hand. Plus 15% off Pro Shop gear. Only with Packers checking. Associated Bank. Bank of the Packers. Learn more at associatedbank.com/Packers. Member FDIC.
This is Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
I have told you how many times. Do not mess with electricity, Chew.
And I don't. I did. I did. But I don't.
Incident? There was one.
Plumbing, you're going to get wet. Electricity, you're going to die.
On 94.5 ESPN.
Augie from Fredonia is saying, I guess the refs will just have to wear Skechers slide-ons if the shoe is the third thing they throw if they run out of things.
I could see you wearing
3 penalties.
The slip-ons, Chewy.
Skechers? I'm not sold on them yet. I'm very finicky about my shoes.
All right, well, the fact that he said he's not sold on them, it means you've thought about it.
They look comfortable. Mm-hmm. It's just when it comes to sneaker, because I got that bone spur, I have to be kind of leery of that thing. So
you have like a go-to. You don't have to say the brand, but you have like a go-to brand that you trust?
Yeah.
Probably tough to wander away from.
You never noticed? No? I love them. I don't think you like them, but I love them.
Yeah. I think you're right.
A lot of people don't, because I don't think they try them. The one brand sucks. I'm sorry. They're terrible.
Okay, we don't need to keep talking about
or
just take saying. Anybody. If you want to take anybody out, go feel free.
Well, I don't think they're a sponsor. Not that it really matters.
I was about to say, that hasn't stopped you before.
Yeah.
What, 2026, new year, new chew?
Yeah, not that it really matters.
You had a little hunting expedition over the weekend. How'd that go?
Good time, good laughs with the Angries. Wouldn't do it again.
Oh, really?
The term hunting very loosely. It was like a hunting farm where they had a bunch of stuff. Not my cup of tea because I'm a skill guy. I like calling my animals in. You know, a little bit of skill. I don't need them fenced in. Brett liked them fenced in. I think he got a 14-point in Fond du Lac one year. Yeah, but he didn't tell us that it was actually kind of tied to a tree.
Somebody found it for him.
It was on one of those farms. I'm like, and this was that farm. I mean, it was fine. Would I do it again? No, definitely not. But the laughs are. Let me tell. So we were. Is Hicksville offensive, Josh?
I mean, it's not the nicest thing to say.
All right, we are in Hicksville.
I don't think it's really that offensive.
So we go check into.
You certainly said more offensive things.
Yeah.
We go check into the hotel and we get a recommendation of where to go, and this is Hicksville, so we went to this, I guess, sports bar, and everyone in there is in camo, and everyone had a limp. You know the Blammer limp? You guys seen the Blammer walk, right? So everyone walked like that, which was quite entertaining, and the clientele was very entertaining. But we had the most honest waitress I've ever had in my entire life. So she was the hostess, waitress, did it all.
Okay.
So we're like, we look at the menu, and it's bar food. There's no quinoa bowls or anything like that. So I was a little disappointed. But
it's a deep
Angry
cut.
goes, now my son Dyson loves French onion soup.
Okay.
And it was on the menu. And Angry goes, how's the French onion soup? And she says, I wouldn't order it. So
hey, she wants a good tip.
Okay.
Hey, she wants a good tip, man. She wants you to avoid the things that you should probably avoid there.
Are you an asker at restaurants typically?
If I don't know what to get, I will say, what do you recommend or what do you think of this?
I might ask for a recommendation. I don't think I would straight up ask how something is.
Yeah. I think I only do that with like specials.
Okay. So everyone, because she recommended the burger, she said, oh, this is a good burger. So we're like, all right, we'll just go with the burger. And then she comes out with the burgers, and I'm just going to tell you right now, they're all overcooked. And we're like, okay, thanks.
Did that not come with an offer of remaking it? Just
no,
said, this is what
no,
you get?
just, hey, yeah. So a lot of laughs, good trip. Took the hogs to the butchers and stuff. So
do you have any plans?
Brats made.
I was about to say, do you have any plans to consume any of the meat you got on the hunt? Again, you were wild hog hunting.
Yeah. I had cheddar brats made. I had some Polish.
Of course.
Have some chops. I'll try and get some cheddar brats. I know you guys are big fans of the cheddar brats. I'll try to get some brought back so you guys can.
All right. Hey, we appreciate
take a
that.
Test run.
Appreciate you looking out for us that way. But that was Chewy's wild hunting adventure. In 2 minutes, we dive back into Matt LaFleur. Happy with the extension, not happy. Plus, what does this mean for Brian Gutekunst and company? That's 2 minutes. Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
Jen, Gabe, and Chewy continues next on 94.5 ESPN.
We do have an accident on 94 westbound, just past Highway C, almost getting to Highway 67. The right lane is closed with this one, so just something to keep in mind if you're heading through there. We've also got this other accident on 43 southbound in Ozaki County. This is just south of Highway D. The left lane is blocked with that one. And then we've also got this other accident. This is car off into the embankment off of the Elm Road off-ramp from southbound 94. So tow truck's on the scene now, so hopefully we'll be pulling that one out of there. Otherwise, delays are pretty standard heading through from 27th Street all the way to about Hawley Road. And checking the TMJ4 Storm Team forecast, all of southeast Wisconsin is under a winter weather advisory and cold advisory until noon today. It is very cold and windy right now with a high of 6. Wind chills of 10 below to 25 below. Tonight, mostly cloudy, bitterly cold and breezy, a low of 1 below with the wind chill of 10 below to 15 below. Weather is brought to you by Wisconsin Indoor Golf Center in Waukesha. Another 2-man scramble tournament is underway. Play the Kapalua Plantation course for a shot at cash prizes. Must play by January 31st. Sign up now at wisconsinindoorgolfcenter.com. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazaga on 94.5 ESPN.
Don't miss a full day of nonstop basketball action at the Deer District Prep Showcase Saturday, January 24th at Fiserv Forum. See the next generation of stars as 12 elite high school boys basketball teams take over the court for 6 can't-miss games. Watch Slinger, Freedom, Arrowhead, West Dallas Central, Racine Lutheran, and more all in one place. General admission is just $20, and that gets you access to all 6 games. Check the full schedule and grab your tickets now at FiservForum.com. Be there. Feel the energy. The Deer District Prep Showcase Saturday, January 24th.
Rock a big win this January at Potawatomi Casino Hotel Milwaukee. Don't miss your chance to win a share of $60,000 in prizes every week. Just play with your rewards card for entries. Prize drawings on Thursdays. Plus, your January drawing entries all roll into an even bigger prize drawing in March. Rock on all month long, only at Potawatomi. More info online. Must be 21 and a rewards member to play.
This is Brian Balaga. You're listening to 94.5 ESPN.
94.5 ESPN is WKTI and WKTI-HD Milwaukee, a locally owned Good Karma brand station. Showtime. The right way to start your day. This is Jen, Gabe, and Chewy, broadcasting live from the Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All studios at the Avenue with Gabe Neitzel and Mark Chmura. Here's Jen Lada.
Matt LaFleur extended over the weekend. Extensions expected, not quite finalized, or maybe they are and they just haven't been reported yet, for Brian Gutekunst and Russ Ball. So it feels like the trio is going to stay. And that's the other thing, Chew, about this, is that the organizational structure is also staying the same. I know our guy Rob, who we're going to be talking to in about 20 minutes here, Rob Demovsky of ESPN.com, he had mentioned it. I think the Journal Sentinel had mentioned it a couple of times of the possibility of going back to the way things were under Ted Thompson, under Ron Wolf, of having the president, and then he is the one who is responsible for the GM responsible for the head coach. But that is not what is going to happen. The structure is remaining the same for the Green Bay Packers.
So is his extension expected to be at the same time as LaFleur is?
I'm guessing
there's not much out there about that, is there?
No. So the part of this, so Rob was the first one who broke the news that the LaFleur extension was done. And the other part about that is new deals for General Manager Brian Gutekunst and Vice President Russ Ball also in the works. So I don't know. I mean, they've kind of tied the two at the hip, obviously with the previous extensions, Chew. I don't know if that's going to be the case this time around, although I think that's a pretty safe leap to make.
So you're not assuming a 3-year deal for Goody and a 5-year deal for LaFleur. You think the two are hand in hand?
I think they're tied at the hip. And maybe that's the wrong way to interpret this, but I think that these two are going to either succeed or fail together. And I think that if they move on from one, they move on from both.
I am not going to be happy if it's 5 years for both of them. I mean, usually you reward people that overachieve, not underachieve. I'm sorry. That's just the way, if a person doesn't do what he's supposed to do for me and he actually does a worse job than I'm anticipating, I don't reward the guy.
But I don't think it's as bad as you think it is. I also don't think that because, again, you're coming down to has he gone to a Super Bowl or not. He's also gotten Jordan Love to play at an incredibly high level, which is very, very important in order to achieving the things you want him to be able to achieve.
That's great. But, Gabe, they were 9-8.
They were 9-7-1.
7-1. Which... That is a disappointment. That is a heavy disappointment. And attach whatever excuse
so you only get one disappointment. Because, again, I feel like in the Love era, this is the one disappointment.
See, now I'm saying last year was a disappointment.
They weren't. Chewy, we said all year. Chewy, we said all year, but they weren't very good last year. They just weren't as good as they were. Yeah, they won double-digit games, but they didn't beat anybody that had double-digit wins. They didn't beat playoff teams, right? Like they just weren't. They weren't that good last year, and we kind of said it throughout the course. And we said it throughout the course of the year. They just weren't that good. They were better this year. Before. Yes, they were better this year.
I still think they underachieved the year before. I mean, if they won a playoff game and lost the next, I would have been fine. I don't know.
But he lost to the Super Bowl. Like the Eagles were significantly better than the Packers. Chew. That's the truth. Like, they weren't going to win that game.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
They weren't going to win that game.
But they got worked.
Yeah. Because they weren't that good. I think we saw the result play out on the field. Let's go out to Thomas in Chicago. Thomas, you're on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy in the Car Blues Talking text line.
Thanks for taking my call. I still don't understand how in that Schefter reported that this is a full commitment and not a prove-it deal. Well, then how come it took them a week to get this done? Like, I just feel like they just treat us fans like they don't, like they say one thing, then they mean another thing, and their actions don't speak than the words. And, like, if you look at, like, the teams that are left in the playoffs, from the ownership down to the players, it's all in, it's buy-in, everyone does their role, and everyone exceeds it. And I just feel like there's just a mishmash of, like, we want to do this, but we want to do that. And it just doesn't – I just don't know if they just don't like commitment and being, like, ruthless and relentless. I don't know. I just feel like it's just very odd of the way they do stuff and, like, they just, like, go about things.
So Thomas –
I don't think they're risk takers. I don't think they're risk takers at all.
Because that would be the risky thing to move. Yeah. Well, I don't know. I mean, I think you could take the argument of, especially as the reaction that I've seen on Carlos Talking text line, that this is riskier than letting him go in terms of the fan base.
Is it? I just have a feeling that I get the feeling that people are just like forgetting how bad it was this last month and a half, and they're like, oh, okay, let's celebrate, roll it over, and maybe we'll do better next year. If he has the exact same year next year as he did this year, I want his ass out of here.
Yeah, that's just not going to happen.
Well, then that's why I'm so upset.
Yeah.
Because let me ask you this, Gabe. Mm-hmm. What does Luke Fickell next year have to do in order to keep his job?
They've got a minimum is bowl game. Minimum. Because they've had losing seasons, Chew, the last 2 years. That's the difference. Like, Luke Fickell is not operating anywhere near the efficiency that Matt LaFleur is. And I know it's Green Bay, we're disappointed in all those things, but, like, Fickell's not even close, right? Like, Fickell's been bad. Like, we feel bad because of the Packers, but at the end of the day, they're one of 6 teams to make the playoffs each of the last 3 years.
No, I go, but the standard in Green Bay is a lot higher than it is in Madison.
Sure.
Well,
but making a bowl game is also like the bare minimum there. And he ended the bowl streak and now has started a streak of not going to a bowl game.
So if they go to the Schlunker Bowl on December 14th after going 6-6, he's back.
I don't know. But that's a conversation that they're going to have. I thought he was going to be going after this year, Chew, but they brought him back. So I don't know how they're operating in Madison. That doesn't make sense. But to answer Thomas's original question of why did this take so long, it seems like, again, they were fine taking their time, and I would have preferred them not go as silent as they did and kind of leave it up to interpretation for the reports from guys like Shefty and Rob Demovsky and things like that. But it seems like it took a while because they're trying to do all three. That they're negotiating. It's not just negotiating one contract, you're negotiating 3 contracts right now. And I think that's what took the week, basically, for them to get this done.
So let me ask you guys, because you're a little, I don't want to say toady, but you're a little more rah-rah than I am. How are you going to celebrate this? Are you celebrating
I'm not celebrating it.
Josh?
No, the way I believe I tweeted out was, I hope I'm wrong about the Packers needing to move on from Matt LaFleur, but I do think that Dak is stacked against him, and I do think I don't know if he's on the hot seat this year, but I do know the window is not as long as his extension likely is.
Mm-hmm. That is correct.
And I hope the best. I'm going to continue to root for them. I'm not going to root against Matt LaFleur.
No, I get that. Yeah,
but I've got a ton of reservations about him winning a Super Bowl in Green Bay.
And again, they're not dictating changes on that staff. I hope there are changes.
Yep.
And I think that getting, whether he's the offensive coordinator or not, but getting more fresh ideas in that offensive game planning room, right? I think that's something that's, if this is the route you go, I think that's going to be something that's important, is getting some different things. A little bit of breaking news right now.
Oh, what do we got?
There is another opening in the NFL, as Sean McDermott has been fired from the Buffalo Bills.
Wow. Now that's balls.
So Sean McDermott out in Buffalo. So that means, by the way, the last 2 league MVPs.
Yeah.
You can go coach them. And, man, that is, whew.
Is that a shot? Yeah.
I thought it was
What does that make? What does it make you think about what the Packers did when you have Harbaugh getting canned and you have McDermott getting canned?
McDermott had 8 or 9 years.
Yeah. The thing that makes a difference to me is these guys got multiple opportunities with the quarterback they had and continued to fall short.
And the guys that they had were MVPs.
Yes.
And Jordan Love might be there eventually someday, but he's not yet.
Uh-huh.
But Josh Allen won an MVP. And maybe, and again, with another job opening, Matt LaFleur would have definitely gotten a job in the NFL. And they ended up, the Packers paid the going rate.
Is McDermott number 1 on people's list now? Is Harbaugh signed, or what the hell?
Harbaugh, it is official. So apparently what took so long there is the Giants were like super far behind in their analytics department and a lot of those things. So Harbaugh was getting his ducks in a row, like for organizational change there before he signed on the dotted line. Kevin Stefanski is already gone. I don't know. I don't know how McDermott's going to be looked at. I mean, I'm sure he's going to be somebody that gets one of these openings. Because, again, the pool's not that large. But the Bills starting a little bit behind the 8 ball because 2 coaches already gone, but they decide to fire their coach in Sean McDermott. He's no longer the head coach in Buffalo.
But they could hire Joe Brady, although I don't know if they would. The OC, because he's a candidate.
I'm guessing
for a bunch of jobs.
Again, I'm assuming, Chew, and this was the same thing that people talked about. What if you let LaFleur go and hire Halfley? Like, man, if you are firing somebody, like, you just want to clean house. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think you want to fire someone and then go, oh, but this guy who was a part of what they, what just happened in Buffalo, to Buffalo in Denver over the weekend. I don't think you want to go, oh, but this guy's going to have all the answers. If you're firing McDermott, to me, you're cleaning house. And it would have been the same thing for the Packers. If you're firing LaFleur, you're cleaning house.
Yeah.
which
that's a little bit of a shock,
especially after they won that playoff game.
Yeah.
Commercial payments at Fifth Third Bank are experienced and reliable, but they're also constantly innovating. It may seem contradictory, but Fifth Third does just that. They handle over $17 trillion in payments smoothly and effectively each and every year. And they were also named one of America's most innovative companies by Fortune magazine. After all, that's what commercial payments are all about. Steady, reliable expertise that keeps money flowing in and out like clockwork. But commercial payments are also about building new and disruptive solutions. So Fifth Third does that as well. That's your commercial payments of Fifth Third Better. Fifth Third Bank, National Association, member FDIC.
Your state, your teams, your ESPN. The ESPN Wisconsin app. Find the ESPN Wisconsin app in the Apple or Android app stores today. More Jen, Gabe, and Chewy coming up on 94.5 ESPN.
Northbound on 41 in Dodge County. It looks like right near Wayside number 64. We got the left lane blocked with a crash. So watch out for that. That's in far northeast corner of Dodge County. We do still have this accident on southbound 43, just about at Lake Drive. The left lane is blocked there. This is north of Port Washington. We've also got a crash 794 southbound at Car Ferry Drive. That's off on the right shoulder, being taken care of pretty easily at this point. As far as delays are concerned, just a little bit backed up eastbound 94 heading into the Hawley Road area. Everything else is rolling along well. Just be extra careful out there. Things might be a little bit slick. And checking the TMJ4 Storm King forecast, all of southeast Wisconsin is under a winter weather and cold advisory until noon today. Very cold today, windy with a high of 6 above, wind chills of 10 below to 25 below. Then tonight, mostly cloudy, bitterly cold and breezy, a low of 1 below with a wind chill of 10 below to 15 below. Weather's brought to you by Safe Plow. When winter hits Wisconsin, Safe Plow keeps driveways and businesses clear with no-tolerance snow removal. They handle the blizzard so you can handle your business. Visit safeplow.com. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazaga on 94.5 ESPN.
On this show, it's always football season.
How can their roster building technique be a little more beneficial to them handling the highs and lows of games and of seasons?
Wilde and Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin.
I'm not saying we need a bunch of 11th year veterans, but I do think that there is an immaturity to how this team handles themselves.
Weekdays from 9 to noon on 94.5 ESPN, ESPN Milwaukee's YouTube channel, and the ESPN Wisconsin app.
Hey Tom, I want a new hoop for the kids. Any ideas?
Yeah, I got mine from Precision Sports over 10 years ago. They helped me choose the right hoop, installed it, and even painted my court lines.
Nice. How do I reach them?
Easy. PrecisionSportsOnline.com for a free quote.
Is it time to buy an engagement ring?
Or a big anniversary diamond?
Kessler's has diamonds that come from diamond mines.
And we also have diamonds that come from plasma chambers.
When you see the size of the diamond you can afford when you look at our high-tech newborn created diamonds,
you're going to be happy, happy, happy.
And with approved credit, our financing plans make anything possible.
Our selection of engagement rings is beyond compare.
And our custom design department can modify any ring in any way you choose.
Anyone who says they can give you a better ring
or a better diamond
or a better price
has never been to Kessler's.
And our miraculous no small print warranty says,
if you bought it at Kessler's, it's guaranteed.
It's just that simple.
And all maintenance is free forever.
No charge.
Yes, it really is that miraculous.
You found a partner you want to share your life with.
When you're ready to celebrate,
we've got a diamond for that.
Find the Kesslers nearest you at KesslersDiamonds.com.
Something exciting is happening at St. Kate the Arts Hotel. On the second floor, you'll find the Studio Kitchen and Cocktails, Milwaukee's destination for bold flavors, fresh sushi, seasonal entrees, and cocktails crafted with care. Start your day with a breakfast that fuels you, stop in for dinner that sparks conversation, or linger late into the evening with drinks designed to inspire. With flavors and drinks for every mood, the Studio is the perfect place to gather, celebrate, and connect. Be boldly social. The Studio Kitchen and Cocktails, now on the second floor at St. Kate the Arts Hotel.
Tired of waking up exhausted? That dad bod weighing you down? Let's get you back to the old you. If your energy, focus, and drive aren't what they used to be, your hormones could be out of balance. At Mentality, we'll dig into what's really going on, then build a personalized, science-backed plan using hormone therapy and peptide treatments to get your brain and your body back on track. So stop telling yourself you're just getting older. Book your appointment now at lowtusa.com. Right now, all new patient labs are covered in your treatment plan. That's a savings of $250. Go to lowtusa.com.
Serious truck crash? Call Gruber Law Offices today.
You are listening to Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
Yes, that would have been much worse than what ended up happening.
Finally got the which would be worse and what would be better. Finally, we figured it out.
You can't just be showing your junk on national TV.
It would have got a lot of clicks.
On 94.5 ESPN.
Again, the breaking news in the NFL, Sean McDermott out in Buffalo as their head coach after 9 seasons. That makes it 10, although one of those openings, not the Green Bay Packers chew. Looks like they're getting extensions done. Now, the LaFleur one seems like it's done, hasn't been announced, but both Gutekunst and Russ Ball also getting extensions. Who do you think deserved an extension more for the Packers? Was it Goody or was it LaFleur?
I mean, based upon this, the Micah Parsons signing, where it looked, with the Sauce Gardner deal out there, it makes the Parsons trade look all that much better. I'd probably say Goody, but not slightly over LaFleur.
Are you with me where it seems like they're kind of tied at the hip? Where it seems like
well,
again,
obviously they are now.
Yeah. Where it just kind of seems like either they're going to succeed together or they're going to fail together. Like either these two are winning a championship or they're both going to get fired. And whenever the roller coaster comes to an end, that both these guys are going to get thrown off together. It just seems like that to me. They're not changing the organizational structure. Again, maybe I'm wrong, and maybe Goody's safer than I think, but it just feels like these two are just tied together, and either they get it done or they don't together.
I don't know. The most frustrating thing for me, from what I'm hearing right now, is I live with someone that negotiates. She's been negotiating her entire life, and every time she goes into a negotiation, she looks to win that negotiation, right? Doesn't always win it, but you approach it like a competition, and based upon what I'm hearing, it's like Goody and LaFleur are treated just like players are. Flip and coddle them. That's just not... It's just not acceptable, and you're seeing with Harbaugh and McDermott, it's not acceptable for those organizations either. Now, I have no problem giving the two of them an extension. I certainly wouldn't give them a 5-year extension.
Well, but again, we don't know years. That's the one thing we don't know. We don't know years.
I'm guessing
which
it's going to be that.
I'm guessing it's 4 or 5 years.
But
I
if
think
you don't
right
even
there.
broach the... You don't even broach the topic, and we don't know, but of like, are you going to make changes here? Because I believe changes need to be made on your staff. What are you going to do? Hopefully we're going to find out.
Yeah, and again, I think we're learning that this is going to be a process, but I also think it was true. Like it was either this or you fire it, right? Like I don't think there was. Because
I don't think they ever, Gabe, had any intention of firing based upon what.
Correct, which is why they had to give him this deal.
Down. Yeah.
Because if they didn't give him a deal like this, then he's gone. Either is again, which is fine. Which either he's your guy, he's your guy, or not. And they've decided that he is their guy, along with Gutekunst, along with Ball, going forward. We'll talk about this more with our guy, Rob Demovsky. That is coming up next here on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy. A weekly pulse on the Milwaukee Bucks, straight from a fan favorite and Bucks legend. Tune into Here District with Marcus Johnson, a Bucks Plus audio production. Marcus and his son Chris, a 1995 UCLA hoops champ himself, talk about everything happening in the Bucks world and are joined by some of the biggest names in basketball. Plus, they'll answer your questions too. Stay on the beat of the Bucks. Find Here District now, Bucks.com/plus, the Bucks app, or wherever you get your podcasts.
More Jen, Gabe, and Chewy coming up on 94.5 ESPN.
Southbound on 43, we've got a crash in Ozaukee County. This is just before Port Washington and right around Lake Drive. The left lane is blocked, but I'm thinking that one might be cleared already since I'm not seeing really any delays along with that. We do have a crash 794 southbound at Car Ferry Drive off on the right shoulder. Then we've also got a crash on the off-ramp to National Avenue from 4394 southbound. Looks like a car might have gone off the embankment there right at the ramp. So just be careful as you're Driving
Okay,
around,
sounds
things are
good.
still going to be slick out there. And checking the TMJ4 Storm Team forecast, all of southeast Wisconsin has a winter weather and cold advisory until noon today. Very cold and windy, a high of 6 above with a wind chill of 10 below to 25 below. Tonight, mostly cloudy, bitterly cold, breezy with a low of 1 below with a wind chill of 10 below to 15 below. Weather is brought to you by The Pickler, Menominee Falls. Cold outside? Get moving indoors with free Learn to Play Pickleball every Monday and Saturday. Learn more at thepickler.com. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazaga on 94.5 ESPN.
It's ESPN Wisconsin's Gabe Neitzel for Events by Design. Events like appreciation parties and retreats can go a long way towards boosting morale and retaining top talent. Events by Design is your go-to creative partner for employee events that truly make an impact. They help leaders retain top talent by making their people feel seen, valued, and celebrated. The creative team at Events by Design does all the planning and production, making sure things not only look great, but also work. Make a smart investment in your culture today. Search online, Events by Design. They design, you party.
So the body knows that it needs to heal itself, but it doesn't know how to concentrate it and target it into just one area. So that's where we come in.
By we, Dr. Ashley Caravelli means the nation's leader in regenerative medicine, QC Kinetics.
We put in those treatments, then it sends out like little signalers to your body. We're able to make the body focus on the areas that need the most healing.
QC Kinetics has gathered brilliant medical minds like Dr. Caravelli and Dr. Mitchell Scheinkup, a pioneer in the field of regenerative medicine, to lead the way in these innovative pain treatments.
So at QC Kinetics, we have a whole team working nationwide with cutting-edge research to reach our patients and treat them and know that surgery is no longer their only option.
The consultation is free. Find out if you're a candidate. Call QC Kinetics today.
Call QC Kinetics 414-240-2298. That's 414-240-2298. 414-240-2298.
Good Karma Brands is proud to be an equal opportunity employer, providing equal employment, development, and advancement opportunities to all teammates and applicants. To learn more about careers with us, please send an email to talentacquisition@goodkarmabrands.com. That's talentacquisition@goodkarmabrands.com.
He's coming. Here he goes. Surprise! Your table saw broke. Also, the warranty expired weeks ago, so you need to pay for a new one out of pocket.
At Progressive, we know small business owners don't usually like surprises because they cost you money. But a good surprise that could save you money? Getting a commercial auto quote from Progressive.
Oh, and the replacement part you ordered doesn't fit, so it's completely useless. What a waste.
Surprise yourself. See if you can save in as little as 8 minutes at ProgressiveCommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
Score more with the college-branded Venmo debit card. Rep your team with every tap and earn up to 5% cash back through Venmo Stash, a new rewards program where the more you do, the more you get. Get your Venmo debit card today and start earning rewards with Venmo Stash. Learn more at Venmo.com/collegecard.
The Venmo MasterCard is issued by the Bancorp Bank N.A. Select schools available. Venmo Stash terms and exclusions apply. Max $100 cash back per month. See terms at venmo.me/stash terms.
Josh, I love the intros, but man, that's last year's intro.
ESPN's #1 source for green and gold information.
Oh, yeah. Hey. Once again, Rob.
Cracking. He's cracking the whip.
We did this last time. You have to speak on the show for me to give you an intro.
You know what? You're right.
Our most musically inclined and bald guest.
I feel like a jerk. I really do. Like, that was terrible.
It's Rob Demovsky on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
Here, I thought last week was going to be the last time we talked with Rob Demovsky. I was wrong. Hand up on me. Rob, are you fired up today, or have you calmed down since you've last appeared on ESPN Wisconsin?
I finally got some sleep over the weekend once all this stuff was done, so I think I'm mellow, Gabe.
All right, that's good. I just didn't know if Josh needed to hover the finger over the dump button or not. So you were the one who broke the news that this deal, that it's done. Obviously, for whatever reason in the NFL, coach contracts, they operate under cloak and dagger. We never know, exact details. But based on everything that kind of happened this past week, do you feel this was the right move for the Green Bay Packers?
Wow, that's a big matzo ball. I'll say this. Like, my job as a beat writer is to tell people what happened, why it happened, give them context, give them information they didn't already have. My job is not to make an opinion. I know I'm on the show to give some opinions. I think it could have gone either way. I really believe that it could have gone either way. Ed Policy felt like this was the right way to go. If you guys are interested, I can sort of take you through what I was told about how last week went on. So from what I was able to understand from talking to multiple people, and everyone wants to know why the contract took so long, right? Like, that's the big question. The contract actually took 1 day. They did not start negotiating until Friday morning, and by Friday evening, they had a handshake agreement in place.
So is that before or after they were caught? They were seen having drinks. I mean, they were caught at the American Club.
Let's go backwards. So from what I was told, Ed Policy met with Russ Ball, Brian Gutekunst, and Matt LaFleur Sunday afternoon, right? That would have been the day after the game. Met with them each individually. And at that point, he told them he wanted to extend each of their contracts. They did not meet, or they met then again Monday as a group to make sure that they were the right combination, the right foursome of people to take this team where they wanted to go. I was told that Policy felt like the four of them needed to spend some uninterrupted time together to make sure they were all aligned. But they couldn't do that until basically Wednesday and Thursday, because the first 3 days after the season, the coaches have to meet with the head coach has to meet with the assistants. The exit interviews take place. The GM sometimes meets with players on their way out. There's medical, there's physical. So by the time all that stuff wasn't done till Wednesday, and then apparently Thursday is when they went down to the American Club, just had a full day of session. And, the whole thing about going out for a drink afterwards, they had a long day of work and they went out for a drink. And, obviously somebody saw them and told Tom Silverstein. It's amazing how
it's a good place to get a drink, Rob. I mean, I'm not going to lie. It's a good place. It's a great place.
Yeah, I don't know if they were at the Horse and Plow bar or there's another bar down in the basement, I think, at the American Club. But, yeah, I love that place. But so that's basically how it went down. They wanted to get LaFleur's contract done first because that was just the most pressing in terms of assistant coaches, firing and hiring, which I think is the next step. I'm sure that's what you're probably going to ask next is what changes are coming on the coaching staff. And I think, we'll probably start to find that out in the next day or so.
So Policy had no intention going into this negotiation as a hardcore negotiator where his firing might have been on the table.
Doesn't sound like it. It sounds like he told them right away, whether it was either Sunday or Monday, I think it must have been Sunday in those individual meetings, that he wanted to extend all three of those guys. So, that was I guess those reports, Chewy, about how he wasn't coaching for his job against the Bears were probably right.
So what's your guess, Rob, on the amount of years?
My guess, and this is a total guess because these terms are really hard to find out. My guess is they added 3 years to it, which means he has 4 total, would be my guess. Obviously 1 year left.
Okay, then I don't feel as bad. What I don't want is for him to get another pass. If he has the same season as he did this past one, gone.
Yeah, you sure you can get rid of him. And here's the thing too, like, there's. Well, I shouldn't say there's going to be 10 openings next year because there were 10. That'd be 2/3 of the league
in 2 years. Yeah. Although LaFleur is now the fourth. LaFleur's the fourth longest tenured head coach in the league now.
Yeah, I was just going to look that up. I'm glad you said that. Was it 2022? There were 10 openings, I believe.
Yeah,
and now
I think you're right.
2025, there's 10. So here's the thing: like, if you have to fire him next year, and you have to eat 3 years of the contract, you're not really eating 3 years of the contract because he's going to get another job. And, there's all those, it's all offset, right? As if you don't double dip as a head coach. Now you don't lose any money. If you had a job for $10 million and the next place is paying you $5 million, your old team still has to pay you $5 million. Obviously, I'm just using those as round numbers. It's more than that. And you can't, the next team can't just say, we'll hire you for $1. Like that's not. There are rules against that, right? I think it has to be like you can't be more than 20% less for the same job or something like that. So it's not like they're going to get, they're going to bust their reserve fund, which is at like, $550, $600 million. So yeah, I don't think this prevents them from firing him. The interesting thing to me in this is that the structure didn't change. At least it didn't change right now.
So that is the interesting thing to me as well, Rob. And I know that they're working, and that was part of your report over the weekend as well, that they got the LaFleur contract done, and now it's they're working on Ball and they're working on Goody. And because they didn't change the structure, is it safe to say that these three are all kind of tied together and they're either going to succeed or fail together?
Well, I would think for sure the coach and GM, the contract negotiator, which is what basically Russ Ball is. He's got a fancy title. I mean, he has been through multiple, right? He came here, I believe, did Ted Thompson hire him, if I'm not mistaken? So he's been doing this for a while with multiple GMs and multiple head coaches. So I sort of look at that as sort of a separate entity. Now Russ is not getting any younger. I mean, he's been in the league a long time. My guess is Russ has got to be in his mid-60s. I hope I didn't insult him if he's if he's younger than that.
If he's younger.
Okay, now I have to find. Let's see if Russ Ball is 66. So
all right, you nailed it. You nailed it.
Right? Pretty good about that one. I would have felt terrible if he was like 57 years old. So Russ, who knows how much longer Russ is going to do it anyway? And that's an important job that they better have somebody groomed for. Chad Brinker, who's now with the Titans, was sort of grooming for that here. He went from scouting to the financial side toward the end of his time here. But anyway, I think the structure, Gabe, would be really hard to change with the same people, same coach and GM around. Like that doesn't mean that next time around, even if, let's say under Chewy's scenario that they're, they win 7 or 8 games next year, they make a change with the coach, but they keep the GM. They could always rewrite Goody's job description and put the head coach under him, which again, I think I told you guys this before. From what I was told, this was months ago when policy took over, that he would prefer the old structure. It was just really hard to get to when you have, the same guys in place and all of a sudden changing reporting, who your boss is without changing the people in the org. It's one thing to get a different boss if there's, people coming and going, but with the same group together, I guess I understand why you might not want to do it. I still think you could have, but I understand why they didn't.
So, Rob, is it your understanding that no demands were placed on LaFleur to change anyone on the staff?
That I don't know, Chewy. And it's possible that Matt went in those early meetings before they even started negotiating and said, hey, here's my vision. I am going to do this or that. I don't know that. But there's going to be some changes. Like they're not coming back with the same coaching staff. That's, last offseason, only the D-line coach was fired after last year. I think there'll be more than one coaching position change, whether it's coordinator, position coach, whatever. That's the next thing to start working on, is trying to find out what's going on there. So I don't know if it was demands or if Matt just preemptively went in there and said, hey, look, I know we need to make some changes, and I will. I don't, I suspect that, but I don't know.
Talking with Rob Demovsky, as we do each and every Monday. It seems like they're going to need a new defensive coordinator. Hafley getting some second round of interviews. It just, again, reading between the lines on some of the reporting around him in Miami, it seems like he's the favorite there. Not that he's necessarily going to get that job, but are the Packers hoping that opens quickly so then they can start moving on figuring out replacements for him?
Yeah, and I think it will. I mean, the jobs will, once you start filling 1 or 2 jobs, the rest of them come in pretty quickly, unless it's somebody that's in the playoffs and can't be hired yet. But it doesn't sound like, maybe Miami's waiting to interview somebody on one of these 4 remaining teams. But yeah, I would think this week a lot of those jobs will start to get filled, and the Packers will know if they need a new defensive coordinator or not. The interesting thing is, DeMarcus Covington is the D-line coach here. He was or will interview for the Cowboys defensive coordinator job. He had been a defensive coordinator in New England for a very short time before he came here. So, I mean, that's probably one guy on the staff that if that's the way they go, that it might go to. But I think, other than him, I'm not sure there's a lock on this defensive staff to be the next coordinator. So that's going to be more, would think an outside search, see where they can go there. But it's going to have to, we got to wait and see what jobs get filled with what people.
Rob, were you surprised by the McDermott firing?
Not really, Chewy. I mean, there's been a lot of smoke there, and this is going to sound crazy, but the first thing I thought of when I saw that just about a half hour ago was not only did they lose in the playoffs, not only have they, kind of never gotten as far as people wanted them to, but they're opening a new stadium in Buffalo. And I'm not so sure that wouldn't play a factor in trying to build excitement around this team, the Bills, right? Because it's almost like a new era, a fresh start. Again, maybe I'm crazy to think that would have something to do with it, but that was kind of my first thought is, they want to go into a new stadium with a fresh approach to football after doing the same thing for, 9 years with him? 10,
9
how many years? Yeah.
8 or 9.
So,
he was there for 9. Yeah. He was there for 9 years.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's been, not unlike Matt LaFleur, there's been talk for the last, around the last few months about this possibly happening.
Whenever they get the other deals done, Rob, do you think again, this is the Packers, so they don't always announce everything. And I'm not even sure, would we have known that Goody and LaFleur had 2 years left on their contracts had policy not said something at the beginning of the season to you guys?
So I'm trying to think how it happened. When they did we knew at the start, in 2018, Goody did a 5-year deal, LaFleur did 4. So then therefore they were coming up in 2022. And we knew they extended them then. And we must have known what the years were then based on sourcing. I would think eventually at some point, through agents or other people in the league that, it will get out exactly what the time is on those. From what the person I talked to did sort of joke that the Packers probably don't want it out this time so that it's not in a situation where everybody does a lame duck situation and then the pressure's on them. I mean, so like last summer, we sort of knew what the timeline was. We just needed somebody to confirm it. And policy, I don't remember exactly, but he must have confirmed it in that meeting. Or maybe it was just known and he addressed the lame duck thing. So I don't know that he ever came out and said, yes, for sure, these guys have one more year left on their deal after this one. I think we just sort of figured it out.
Is there any chance once they finalize these deals that he holds a press conference to talk about it?
I think Ed Policy will speak when this is all wrapped up. And Goody still technically has to talk. Goody does an end-of-year thing every year, and I don't think they wanted to put him up there
without an extension,
settled, including his own situation, right? So I would suspect that we would hear from Ed Policy some point this week and possibly Gutekunst as well.
I think that's going to be valuable just because we don't have many data points of, how does this guy handle situations outside of when he talked to you guys before the season?
I mean, he's basically talked twice since he was named president, once in that session with us and once at the shareholders meeting on July, whatever date that was, 25th or 3rd or whatever it was.
Yeah.
So, it's important for the Packers to put him, up there. I mean, he's the figurehead of this organization, and it's important for him to be visible. So I do think we will definitely hear from Ed at some point. And, at that point, I think one of the interesting things is not only why he decided to keep the coach and GM, but why he decided to keep the structure. And I mean, all we know right now is that it is staying the same. We don't know why.
Rob, we certainly appreciate the time, my friend. And again, looking forward. This is just the tip of the iceberg to me. I think the offseason is just going to get more and more interesting from here.
Well, my handy contract here says that we talked up to the Super Bowl. So
up to the Super Bowl? Okay.
You thought you were
We're going to sign you to a new extension, Rob. Don't worry about it. All right?
You thought you were rid of me last week. We go up to the Super Bowl, so that would be what, two or three more of these?
Yeah, 2 or 3 more. Yeah, okay. Again, I apologize. At the beginning we hear about how you feel like a jerk. I feel like a jerk because I'm like, oh, Rob, we love you. He did all this good work, and then we just welcome him back the next week like nothing happened.
Hopefully Homer forgets, and I don't have to talk to him tonight because I'm not ready to be drilled by him again.
All right. Well, we'll see if he. Well, no, you don't have to worry about that. Marquette plays tonight. There's no Homer Hour tonight. Marquette's playing on MLK Day, so you don't have to worry about Grilled by Homer.
All right, Balaga and I will just talk off the air.
Sounds good. Appreciate you, Rob.
Right.
Thanks, Rob.
Hey, guys.
Rob Demovsky joins us here on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy every Monday running up to the Super Bowl. We check out the polls coming up next.
Jen, Gabe, and Chewy are back after this on 94.5 ESPN. All day, every day. The Carbless talk and text line is open for you.
First off, there is not one team that's on the fringe that scares me.
800-990-3776. The Carbless talk and text line. This is more.
When you're high, you feel different. Pretty obvious, right? You think different, talk different, but if you feel different, you drive different. So if you're high, just don't drive. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
When a trophy is raised, it can feel like the season's over, but on the ESPN app, it never really is. Because with more than 47,000 live events, plus originals, highlights, and coverage from every corner of the sports world, there's always something to dive into. No off-season, just everything a fan needs to keep going. Always in season, get all of ESPN all in one place. Download the ESPN app on your TV or phone today.
My name is Whitney Allen. I am a widow. My husband Ryan died. We never thought in a million years we'd have to use life insurance. The unexpected happened. With Ethos, it is so fast and easy. It's 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage through Ethos.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/game. That's ethos.com/game.
Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
At Wrangler, we know the essential question for any guy is, can I go like this? It could be date night, boys' night, work, or your nephew's school play. It could be anything, and the last thing you want to do is change. That's why Wrangler makes jeans, shirts, jackets, and tees that answer yes to life's essential question. You can go in Wrangler. Check out our latest styles today at Wrangler.com. Wrangler for the ride of life.
Grab the dial and crank it up, baby, because Potawatomi Casino Hotel Milwaukee is spinning its Winning Hits collection. Over the next 3 months, you could win a share of over $1 million in prizes. On top of thousands in cash and reward play, you could win one of 3 new Ford vehicles in the grand finale drawings on March 27th. Just play with your rewards card to earn entries. Press play on the Winning Hits collection, only at Potawatomi. More info online. Must be 21 and a rewards member to play.
Life's better with American Family Insurance because we know you love working weekends. If it means working on your dream home, both inside and out. And we're here to help protect those dreams so you can enjoy peace of mind. Save up to 40% when you bundle home and auto. American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products, pricing, and availability vary based on where you purchase insurance and by state. Some exclusions apply. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating companies, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
The pursuit of fair wages and top-of-the-line benefits is achieved when the right union has your back. The Sheet Metal Workers Labor Union is extremely diverse, representing Wisconsinites working HVAC, architectural metals, welding, specialty fabrication, and much more. Make great living wages with outstanding benefits, pensions, and apprenticeship programs in trained, safe working environments. The Sheet Metal Workers Union is a leading force in the revitalization of the labor movement in Wisconsin.
Dinner chaos? Not tonight. Not when you got Screamin' Sicilian Detroit-style pizza on the table. It's got a thick and airy crust, that crispy, caramelized edge, tons of toppings baked into perfection right in its own pan. Available in cheese. You got the pepperoni, the multi-meat. Supreme is fantastic, all delicious. Every bite brings a little peace and harmony to the table. It's Screamin' Sicilian Detroit-style. Dinner drama diffused. Find it in your local grocer's freezer section.
It's Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
I'm right-handed, but like...
I'm with Gabe here, yeah. I feel more confident in my left hand here, just cupping right now, other than my other hand cupping.
Mostly because I also...
I get a lot more work on the right hand.
On 94.5 ESPN.
Couple of Infinity Exterior polls that we threw up on Twitter at Jen Gabe Chewy. Are you happy the Packers extended Matt LaFleur? 68% of people, Chew, are saying yes. And then who deserves an extension more is our second Infinity Exteriors poll, Brian Gutekunst. Again, that one's very new, but Goody leading the way there at 56%.
Well, I feel better after hearing Rob talk about it. He believes it's a 3-year deal.
3 year to give him 4
that
total.
Makes me feel a little bit better.
Yeah. To make it 4 total.
That's fair. Then I'm fine with it. Then I'm good with it. I just don't want any more passes. You stink, you're out.
Caleb from Horicon chimes in on the Cardinals Talking text line. I think LaFleur staying has a lot to do with Jordan Love and how he's developed. It's a big year for that relationship. Also, Goody needs to take a different approach. Blowing up a top 10 offensive line from last season was stupid. Not addressing corner is another thing that hasn't made much sense either. These are very key 3 years for this franchise. And I guess to defend Goody, he did address cornerback, Chewy. He just addressed it with the wrong player in Nate Hobbs. He went out and he paid Nate Hobbs. It just wasn't. He did something. It was the wrong thing, but he did something.
Swing and a miss.
Yeah, it did something. It just wasn't the thing that everybody certainly was hoping for. Wilde and Tausch going to continue to react to all of this. Coming up next on ESPN Wisconsin.
Yeah, we've got a few more issues out there, but they're mostly all disabled vehicles. The only issue right now, 794 southbound at Car Ferry Drive, we do still have a crash off on the right shoulder. Eastbound 94, the right lane is blocked with a broken down vehicle right about at Highway P in Waukesha County, so definitely seeing some delays there west of Delafield. Other than